Hello, everyone. Peter Towers speaking, Managing Director of ESS BIZTOOLS. Welcome to this overview of our Survival in Difficult Times package, which is part of the ESS BIZTOOLS products. I hope you're having a good day. We're going to look at business survival and the need for accountants, the services you can provide to help your clients. I think it's a mentoring service to assist SMEs. There's natural disasters all over Australia every year. Drought, bushfires, floods, cyclones. There's problems in specific areas also because of the close down of a major business, maybe going broke, maybe losing contracts. There may have been supply issues out of certain areas into customers in other parts of the world that's not been continued. You can give advice on the business performance to your clients by monitoring the information and identifying where improvements can be made. And this is what this 42 questionnaires is there for. It's to help you evaluate. And then we've got some reference papers which will help your client have a better understanding as to what they should be doing in their business. So let's now go on and we'll have a look at the product so that you can see how it operates. So we've now brought up Survival in Difficult Times within your website, which you can now see. There is a summary on your screen now of the various components of the package, but we'll download it at this stage so that you're able to see the completed package. When we download it, the document that we're really interested in is Form 006065, Survival in Difficult Times for SMEs Workbook. So I've clicked on that now, and we have to do a new screen share. And you should now be able to see the product. There is a set of instructions. We're going to be doing some calculations and linkages, so we need to click on the Enable Editing. There's a full summary there of how the system works, which you can look at. And we have got across the bottom of the screen the names of the various questionnaires that are contained. There is a report section where anything that you type in the final overview of a particular section will automatically appear here so that that can be reviewed. I'm now going to go to the index, and I'm going to show you how some of this system works to give you an idea. So if we go to Financial Accounts Review, you've now got this series of questions about the financial accounts of the business. Are your financial accounts updated on a regular basis so as to enable prompt and accurate financial accounts? And this is a question for your client. You can answer yes or no. Do they prepare weekly performance reports? And what you're trying to find out is the way they're answering as to whether there can be some suggestions as to changes can be made. How often are they getting their management financial reports? And I think these should be prepared on an individual department basis, not all lumped together into one profit and loss account, because that doesn't tell any of the line management team members anything. This gives them an overall P&L. It's far better if it's broken down into its components, so that the person that's responsible for a particular unit, whether it's the transport area, whether it's the production area, or maybe a section of the production area, is able to receive their own accounts. Do you prepare key performance indicators? How often? So that's just getting a feel for it, but then we can link to some other material. We can link to steps to ensure peak SME fitness. So we can review labour costs, labour productivity. Do they know it? What do they do about shrinkage and waste management? Are they managing their cash flow? Debtors management. Have they got any concerns there? What's their debtors days outstanding? What's the policy on tax invoices? Are they prepared at the same time the goods or services are supplied? Do the tax invoices have a stamp on them showing the due date for payment of that tax invoice? Nothing to do with statements. If they're still sending statements, are they emailed to the client within 48 hours at the end of the month? Incidentally, are the tax invoices emailed to clients? Another big issue with debtors management is, do they supply, as part of the overall package, each time they send a tax invoice, every document that the client said that they wanted to receive? The client or customer may have said they wanted weighbridge certificates or health certificates or some other document. And if they don't receive it, they won't make payment. It's as simple as that. So you need to make sure your client's got a system in place that makes sure that for client ABC, they always supply whatever their requirements are. So these are just questions that can raise issues. You should be going through these with your client, trying to determine the weaknesses in the system. And that's where you can offer services to fix those weaknesses. And then we can return to where we were, which was the financial accounts review. And when we get back to there, we can just check our responses and go back to the index. If we wanted to have a look at the debtors review, we could go into debtors, and there's some questions. Who's responsible for debtors? What are the payment arrangements? They gone through and had it calculated properly. We might want to look at the debtors days outstanding calculator. Just clear the worksheet. Put in the credit sales, we're saying is 1.2 million. That's going to give us a daily figure. And let's say that our balance outstanding is $256,000. That's going to tell us that that's debtors days outstanding of 78 days. Far too high if they're on 30-day trading terms, isn't it? So then you can say, what's the targeted debtors days outstanding? What are they trying to achieve? Let's say 40 days. So that would be an improvement of the targeted debtors would then be 131,000. That's an improvement in their cash flow of $124,000. That's worth you sitting down and talking to the client about how that can be implemented, isn't it? And it might be some of the things we've just talked about. The tax invoice has been sent promptly, straight away. Do they always have attached to them or sent at the same time, whatever other documentation the customer required, but it's got to be sent at that time. It shouldn't be separated. If there's any questions or queries from the client, are they promptly answered, not left for the next month? Because all these little interruptions stop the flow. And is all the information in the customer's hands by the close-off date that they have indicated when they signed on with your client? There's a lot of businesses these days saying we've got to receive all the documentation by the 6th day of the month or the 7th day of the month or whatever. And if your client's late, they won't get paid until the following month. They won't even get processed under the following month in many cases. This is the way the mining industry works. And I've had situations where people supplying the same major customers from the same area, basically doing the same sort of work. One has got debtors days outstanding, a bit over 30 days, another one's up around 80 days. And you say, why? But when you have a look at it, you'll soon find out why, because this particular customer required weighbridge certificates to be supplied. And if they're not supplied, they're not going to make payment. They also had cut-off dates, like the 6th or 7th day of a month. The one that had the debtors problem never met that and blamed everyone. Well, his competitor down the road was doing it within 5 days and always made sure all the attachments were there. And that way you get paid. So it's as simple as that. So that's the type of exercise you can do. We have a little chart there to help your client to understand what their debtors might be based on what their turnover is. So if the turnover is 1.1 million and they're aiming to achieve 90 days, they should be on $90,000 in debtors. And if they're happy to have it at $45, 45 days outstanding, it would be $135,000. So why is it currently sitting on $256,000, you might ask? And that might just help your client have a better understanding of what's going on. We could also have a look at debtors management, where there's some notes to assist you to ensure that your client has got a great system. So let's look at some of the headings that we've put into this. Systems review, go through and have a good look at the debtors. Ensuring your big customers pay, some of the comments I've just been making. Give your customers a reason to pay. Many people now have reminders going out 2 or 3 days before an invoice is due for payment. Not a bad idea. It prompts people to make payments. Follow up your debtors. If they haven't paid, follow them up straight away. Don't wait for another month. Should be the suggestion that you're making to your clients. Don't be the financier for your customer. That's what banks are for. You should be getting paid within your payment terms. And if your payment terms are 30 days, that's what you should be doing the base calculations at. Having an awareness of the personal property securities register. It can be very important with debtors because preferential payment allegations can be made by liquidators. And then your client may have to pay back some money. Never very nice. So we can now go back to the debtors review, which is where we were. And we can now go back to the index. We've looked at the debtors days outstanding calculator. If you wanted to have a look at a marketing review, here's some questions on marketing. Has the business considered growth options? Would these options help generate additional market share? Has the business identified its inside advantage? It's all various points that you can then communicate with your client about. And if we want some extra supporting material, we can go up here, we can click on the marketing. And within marketing, we're talking about an effective marketing plan. And the inside advantage, market generation. We can go back to the review. And we can go back to the index. So that's how the system works. You can look at customer review. Will this help you with your clients? I think it will. It's virtually an audit on the system that's been implemented within your clients. You sit down and do this for an hour with a client, I'm sure you'll find plenty of work that you can then be proposing to them that you will handle for them. And let's look at some of the supporting documentation that we've got here. Customers. Communication with customers starts from day one. They should be asked to fill in a form so that there can be some checks made. Check the credentials of new customers. Don't take on someone else's problems. How do you keep customers? Communicate with them, keep them happy. Spread your risk of danger. You shouldn't be having everything of a big business. As attractive as that may seem, it can be very dangerous. The Personal Property Securities Register, a bit more explanation on that. So hopefully that will help you have a better understanding of some of these issues. We might look at risk management. Some of the areas to consider with risk. And a whole range of other areas that come into play in various components of the system. You can see here in this material, we've got government grants, we've got risk management, we've got avoiding problems, we've got the big picture. So it's very interesting for you to be able to go through all this and talk to your clients about the strategies that they might implement. So that's the approach in this particular package. It's a matter of you sitting down, working through it and asking the questions. You may or may not want to bring in the commentary as you're going through. It might be better to just go back and get all the answers first, go work through the index, get the answers from the client, and then look at the supporting documentation. Let's just look at wastage shrinkage. Do they identify their wastage shrinkage? Do they have a policy? Do they have any idea of some of these concepts to do with wastage and shrinkage that might be of benefit to them? So this is going to take us back to a theft and pilferage review, which is also there. So we are covering a whole range of material. So now that you've seen that, I'm just going to go back to this main area. In the financial area, we've got financial accounts, gross profit, wages to turnover, net profit before tax, debtors days outstanding, and fixed assets. Market and customer review, market review, marketing review, sales, customers, sales analysis, sales targets, cash flow review, performance analysis, and then business operations review, costs, stock, work in progress, team members, banks, leaders, business strategies, insurance, and so on. So hopefully that will help you to be able to have these conversations with these clients and get them to be able to have a better understanding of their business, especially if they have suffered some of these difficulties that can occur, to help them survive in their business. So I'm now going to just move on and resume our PowerPoint slides. And talk to you about the special promotion we currently have for 7 great products. This package is only $795, including GST, for 12 months, 24/7 access. It's a great way to introduce a range of services. So you receive 4 packages that are standard in each of these packages. Business advisory services training, which is very important, takes you through the process, gets your team ready. Business Plus newsletter, there's an edition each month, except January, but there's 3 in May. The extras are the federal budget as it affects SMEs that we write, and an end of year tax planning edition. ESS papers, you receive 343 of these in 60 categories. You can badge them and send them out to your clients. And the SME needs analysis, a very important document, probably the most important in the overall package, because it gives you some clues as to what to discuss with particular clients when it's their debtors or it's their key performance indicators, or whether it's their succession planning, or whether they need more money, should they be looking to raise capital as a crowdsourced funding equity raising company. And then you can select 3 additional products. You select which ones you would like. And we've got 22 you can select from. There's 5 built around business health checks, which is a further development from benchmarking. And they're the industries we've got them in, but then there's business planning, trades and charge out rate calculator, professional firms, charge out rates, retail, wholesale, stock mix and pricing calculator. How do they get all that worked out so they'll make the profit they're targeting? Buying a business, client mentoring and coaching modules, seminars and webinars, crowdsourced funding equity raising. A small private company could raise up to $5 million in 12 months. Debtors management, early stage innovation company capital raising. They have to be under 3 years of age. In some cases, they can be up to 6 years of age. Turnover under 200,000 in the last 12 months. Expenditure under $1 million in the last 12 months. But there's great carrots that the government introduced into this legislation for the investors, because they want investors to invest in these types of companies. So it's worth having a good look at, working out how many clients you may have that might be interested in this. Government grants, very essential that you understand the grants and understand your industries that your clients are operating in. Leadership, the personal property securities register, selling a business, the SME debtors systems manual, succession planning, and survival in difficult times, this package we're going through today. So you pick 3 of those. You get the standard 4, you got 7. That will give you a start in the delivery of business advisory services. You want more information or the subscription form, please send us an email, peter@essbiztools.com.au, and we'll send it back to you, the brochure and the subscription form, and you will be our subscriber within 24 hours. Our future webinars that are coming up on Thursday of this week, we've got the retail wholesale stock mix pricing calculator. It's on at 1 o'clock AEST. And business health check pharmacies is on next Tuesday, the 30th of November at 1 p.m. AEST. Why don't you join us and have a clear understanding of how these systems work? To register for the webinars, please go to our website, www.essbiztools.com.au, and click on register for upcoming webinars. And I look forward to having you with us at that time. If you need any more information, please send me an email, peter@essbiztools.com.au. You can go to our website, of course, or you can telephone 1-800-232-088. Thank you for joining us for this training webinar. Stay safe and have a great day. Goodbye. And thanks for being with us on this webinar.